Okay, so I welcome everyone to this event. Um, it's another International Education Week. Yeah, so sorry, please, if you don't come in, please just try to mute yourself so that you don't disrupt what we are saying. So it's another International Education Week, which is an event that is co-hosted by the U.S. Department of State and U.S. Department of Education. And this is celebrated in the US and over 100 countries worldwide. So, and it's typically done around the third week of November. So, and this is an opportunity that provides a platform for schools and universities to highlight the benefit of international education and promote cross-cultural exchange. In line with this, our organization, Education Africa Scholars Global Connect, hosts programs to support young people from different countries in Africa, over 54 countries in Africa, to assist them. And then also people from other places, not just in Africa, but other countries. Like in this program, we're going to have people from not just African countries, but from other countries. We have people from joining us from UK, joining us from Canada, and then people joining us from the US. So it's a lot of people from diverse background. So, and then at this point, we always like to invite distinguished, industry leaders, people in academia, people in the industry, to come and discuss pressing global issues that will empower international students, both home and abroad. So, to go on with the program, um, I'm just the host of the program. I'm the founder of Education African Scholars Global Connect. And then I have my colleagues here. I believe that we have the board members of Edu Africa here. Some of the volunteering staff are also here. So I am going to hand over the program to a moderator, which is Festus, to carry on from there. And he will introduce the moderators and then, he will introduce the panelists. And then from there, we can start the program. While the panelists are discussing, the audience, if you have questions, a follow-up question, you can be either you write it down somewhere, because we will have another extra 10 to 15 minutes for questions and answers that are coming from the audience. So while the program is going on, if you have a question, you can either write it down, or you can write it in the comment section, so that after we have exhausted all the questions we have for the panelists, we will now take questions from the audience and be able to answer those ones. So without wasting of any much time, I'm inviting to the stage the moderator of the program, Festus. Festus, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stanley. And to our distinguished panelists, we appreciate the time you out of your busy schedules to accept.
Is there a way you can make this volume to be a little bit higher?
Yeah. I think. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's not as loud as it should be.
Yeah.
Maybe because you are wearing earpiece or something.
I think. Can you hear me now?
We can still hear you, but my challenge is that
we can
it
hear
is
you,
not
but
so
the volume
loud.
is low.
Yeah, its volume is low. If there is a way, you can probably
hear me now.
I think it's better now.
Yeah, it is better. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, so to our distinguished panelists, we thank you so much for taking the opportunity out of your busy schedules to have this program and event with us. We appreciate you for your time and your efforts being put in this. And to our very own people, our friends and colleagues out there, we thank you for also being here with us, and we appreciate your time. It's going to be such a great and inspirational, event with us. So stay tuned and If you have any questions, just as Mr. Stanley said throughout the presentation, kindly put your question in the chat box, or probably you can write it down. When we are done, then we take the questions. So I'll go ahead and introduce the event. Our moderators, sure. So I'm actually the moderator, and in terms of allowing people in and muting people as well, Mr. Stanley will also be supporting me with that. Okay, so I want Mr. You've already given the general event overview, right? Or you still want to go ahead with that, Mr. Stanley?
Yeah, of course, I have done the general overview
Yeah.
of the event, so you
Okay.
can just go on with the introduction of the moderate of the panelists, one after the other.
Okay. Thank you. So today we have our first panelist to be Mr. Charles Obochi, and I want you all to join us to welcome him. He's a distinguished academic and human resource professional with over 15 years of experience across public and private sectors, and he's currently a lecturer at Michael Opara University of Agriculture in Omideke in Nigeria, where he also teaches and researches in the Department of Industrial um, Relations and also personal management. Mr. Charles also leads human capital development as an executive director of Global Management and Resource Center Limited, impacting over many organizations across Nigeria and also abroad. And he holds a master's in public administration with distinction. A very great one, a very great distinction. And he's also advancing his research as a PhD candidate at the University of Abuja in Nigeria. Without much ado, let us welcome Mr. Charles Ubochi to the stage. Mr. Charles, are you there? Let us hear from you.
Okay, I think he's trying to join. I
Joining
just
us
spoke with,
soon.
yeah, he's joining us soon. I just he's having
Yeah.
some issues on the background to join from there. But just continue with the rest of the
Okay.
panelists.
Okay, our next panelist, we have Matthew J. Sampson, and Simpson is a very, great father and someone who loves community development. And so he's a community development strategist based in Rockford in Illinois. And he has over 14 years of experience working in economic development, neighborhood level, community development, and public administration. Oh, that's so great. And he has a deep passion for entrepreneurship and business development, and it has actually led him to the role he occupies today within the African American Business Development Management team. He is actually the manager with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Development. We appreciate you so much, Mr. Matthew, for joining us today, and we thank you for joining us. Can we hear your deep voice and your inspirational voice by, accepting to be with us?
Yes, sir. First of all, man, good morning, good afternoon. Now, please pardon my delay. It's really an honor to be here. I love being able to connect with brothers and sisters in the diaspora. You know, it means the world to me. I know how powerful it is to, first of all, connect and convene. You know, anytime, you know, you can go fast by yourself, but you can go far together. So I just love being able to connect with young leaders on the call. Shout out Stanley, who we connected, and he invited me to participate on this panel. So, you know, I'm excited, and I can't wait for the discussion.
No, thank you so much. That was such a great acceptance from you. We appreciate that. To our next panelist, we have Prince Emmanuel. Emmanuel, he says God is with us and all that in Ghana. Yeah, sure. So we welcome Mr. Prince Emmanuel. He's a graduate student in chemistry and biochemistry at Texas Tech University, and he also serves as the graduate senator in the Student Government Association at Texas Tech. And he's also a webmaster for the Chemistry Graduate Students Organization. And over the past years, he has been actively contributing to student governance and organizational support in his field. We appreciate you, Mr. Emmanuel, for being here with us. can we hear from your deep voice?
Thank you very much, Mr. Festus, and it's really an honor to be here, and we look forward to what we're going to do today and how we impact lives and to contribute to our quota to making sure that everything is going well within and around our community. Thank you very much, and as we go on.
Thank you so much for taking the opportunity out of your busy schedules to also be with us. It's not really easy. We do appreciate that so much. Our next panelist, we have Tina Meyers, and she is an American advocate for diversity, health, and wellness, and she's so much dedicated to addressing societal challenges through compassion and support, and that's something I also love. And I'm actually waiting to hear from her. Tina is the founder of Intentional Helpers Organization, a grassroots initiative assisting those in need. And her mission is to uplift communities through holistic solutions and meaningful connections, with aspirations to expand her impact internationally as well. That's so powerful. She is also an avid health enthusiast, and Tina promotes a balanced lifestyle through wellness practices, organic foods, and mindful living. That's so great. She believes in the power of unity within diversity, and she's so much passionate about empowering others to thrive physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it's very, very important part when we are talking about education. Thank you so much, Tina Meyers, for being here with us. Can we hear from you? Tina?
Hello, Tina.
Sorry, I thought I was being able to be heard. I'm happy to
I think your voice is cracking.
There's an issue with the audio.
Yeah.
Okay, network.
Yeah, I can just send a message to her real quick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
it's better now.
Okay. I said I'm very happy that I have manifested this opportunity to be able to come in here to help join in with the rest of you, to be able to help elevate the youth up from the inspiration that they need in order to thrive in life and not rely on anything or anyone else, especially crime, because it's not for our higher good. It only comes to kill and steal and destroy us, and that's all it's there for. You can't go any higher than that crime level because of the fact you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. And with you, when you have an understanding of who you are internally, there's nothing to stop you. There's no limits to where you can go. But if you're with crime, you're stopped. You can only go so far, and that Gucci bag is only going to last so long. So I'm very happy to be here and to express my thoughts with you. Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you
so much, Tina, for being here with us and accepting our invitation as well. We appreciate that. Okay, so next on our list, actually not last, part of the panelist, is Obina Franklin. And Obina is an accomplished economist with a PhD in economics and a master's in statistics. Whoa, from Northern Illinois University, and he focuses basically on applied econometrics with published work exploring economic and business questions, particularly around institutions and small businesses in Nigeria. He has over 4 peer-reviewed papers and over 45 citations, and he has expertise which span from data science, international development, and innovation. He is also an avid mentor and community volunteer. Outside of academia, he enjoys soccer, chess, and spending time with family and friends. Thank you so much, Mr. Obina, for being here with us. We appreciate you for that. Can we hear from you, Mr. Obina?
Hello, Bina, can you speak?
Obina, I
Yeah,
think,
can you hear me?
yeah, we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. When you said accomplished economist, I smiled because I'm just starting my career.
Yeah, but at
Well,
least,
that's
yeah.
yeah. So it's always a pleasure to um, engage with young people in Africa and all over the world. I became interested in Edu Africa because of my own life journey. I came to the United States in 2018, and the journey was very tough for me. I didn't have a mentor to talk to, someone who could guide me and give me direction. So I went through the whole process from beginning to end, practically on my own and with my God. But I said something to myself that I will make sure that the younger generation don't have to go through the stress I went through. At least if I can make the process easier for them, I would gladly do that. And that is the motivation behind my work with EduAfrica. And I really thank everyone for coming today, the presenters, the moderator, and the listeners. And I hope that after all of this, you guys will learn something from this that will improve your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Obina, for accepting our invitation and also being here with us. So, to my dear panelists, we're going to zoom straight into the questions, and each panelist has 2 minutes to respond to the question. It's going to be more of interaction and educative ones to our audience as well. So 2 minutes for you to respond to the questions, and through the session, if someone also has a question from the audience, just put your question in there. It will be addressed by our panelists as well when we get to the Q&A. Okay, so to Mr. Charles, we really want to understand the benefits and challenges of being an international student in the United States, and how can these students and going through these experiences prepare themselves for the future.
I just received a message from Mr. Charles right now. He was on transit, and then
Okay.
he just arrived at his hotel at a place. He's gonna he
Oh,
traveled
then we
from,
can actually skip him, right?
yeah. So
But then
just
to our
continue
dear
with other.
panelists, anyone who wants to help us in addressing that question will be helpful.
Yeah. Just any of the panelists can
Yeah.
respond to that while you continue with
Mm.
other questions.
Yeah, so benefits and challenges of being an international student in the United States, and how we can prepare ourselves
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
future.
yeah, I can definitely share my ideas.
Okay.
I have been an international student in the US for like 6 years. So I think I have something to share with everyone. So, like, the first benefit I want to talk about is the United States arguably has the best education system in the world. Some of the schools in the United States are ranked as the best in the world. So when you go to school here, you are um, arguably getting the best education you can get from anywhere in the world. So that empowers you to be an agent of change. One challenge I want to mention is very obvious: financial constraints. And that is why we have non-profits like Edu Africa, the one we are attending this event for, which help to guide and mentor students to apply to schools and also to apply for funding, get this funding and then go to school abroad. So these are the ones I want to share for now. Any person who also wants to say something can contribute.
Thank you.
Next question.
Okay. So to our next panelist is Obina.
Oh,
Considering the competitive global market job, I mean, how could international students approach job search strategies after graduation? Because it's very, very important.
so I think the process for job search, the way I would say is the way I say it is that the student should be try to be proactive. So this means starting from the first time, the very time you arrive at the United States. Okay. Most of us come here for our masters, and then the next plan is to enter the job market. So use that 2 years to prepare for your job market. One way you can prepare is by consulting the career office in your school. Most schools in the US typically have that office, and they can help you to review your CV. They can also conduct mock interviews for you. Coming from Nigeria to the United States is a different challenge, and interviews here are conducted in a different way. So that kind of office will definitely help you to know what interviewing in the United States is like, and also going through the job process. So something else you could do is to attend career fairs. That's a very good environment to interact with recruiters. And even if they don't have something for you at that moment, you can always keep in touch with them on LinkedIn, and they can maybe link you up with something that comes up in the future. Then another important point is for you to develop important job skills while you are still in school. You can try to take classes that will help you to build job skills. For example, if you plan to work as an economist, you should start taking some courses that will help you to build your programming skills and all of that, so that when you get to the end of your program, you'll be ready to be relevant in the world of work. Then apply for internships. This is a no-brainer. If you want to work, you need some experience, and internships are excellent ways to gain some kind of exposure to the job market. And then many companies these days, when you do well as an intern, they can ask you to come back full-time, and that is very, very important. Now, I always tell students to be open to unpaid internships. You may ask me, why should I do unpaid work? But I think about it as an investment in human capital. Okay, even if you're not getting paid, you are gaining important job experience that is going to pay up tomorrow. Okay, and then talking about internships, some jobs you will find out later will require you to be a permanent resident in the United States, or maybe to even be a citizen. Okay, and this is where NIW comes up. I always tell new students to always think about how they want to remain in the country, probably after studies. And NIW is an excellent way. NIW simply means National Interest Waiver, and it is a pathway to permanent residence in the United States. And what qualifies you is basically having a master's degree. So while you are still going through your master's degree, start thinking about how to make your stay here permanent, because it's going to open more doors for you, give you more flexibility with employment and all of that. Thank you. I hope I didn't go over 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Obina. To our next
Can I add
panelist.
to that a little bit?
Okay, yeah, you can.
If you don't mind. Okay, cool. You know, I thought that was powerful, man. A lot of great advice. And I think that in addition to that, what I would say is when you're looking for a job, the search, for the job it starts like in the classroom almost, in the programs or organizations that you volunteer with, or in the sports activities that you participate in, or in the faith organizations that you participate in. It's like if the professors or staff come to know things about you that are positive, when opportunities come around, they start to think about you. So I think when you're thinking about jobs, you really want to just think about relationships and networks. I have this phrase I say all the time: relationships are worth more than money. Relationships are worth more than money, because a relationship and a connection can do things for you that you can't buy. It can get you into doors. It can make connections for you. You can get a phone number or an email for a person that you'll never be able to buy. And you're learning and paying for education for sure, but the credit hours and the classroom sessions are just a fraction of what you need to be getting out of college. So you want to make sure that your professors or your staff people or your people in the dorm buildings or wherever you are, you want to spend time in the community where you are and make relationships with people. Because just by virtue of you being known to, stay late, ask questions in class, go to the office hours, being positive on campus or being positive in the community, people will start to think about you and say, hey, you know what? I know this young sister, this young brother who may benefit from this and you'll get opportunities. So everything that Brother Obi Franklin said was accurate. And you want to be thinking about, how am I building positive relationships with people that may help me get to where I'm trying to go? So always be thinking about relationships are worth more than money.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so powerful addition to what Franklin said. Thank you. To our next panelist, Matthew, we want to find out, in what ways can African youth studying in the United States leverage their unique backgrounds to create innovative solutions to global challenges?
What I would say is that I have a job. There's nothing wrong with having a job. The brother introduced me. I work for the state of Illinois government, and I work in economic development. And I'm honored to do this work. I see myself as a servant of the citizens. In addition to that, I own a business. I'm a partner in a business. We purchase real estate, multifamily residential real estate. We do event production. We do product collaborations. And we also recently purchased a coffee shop business in downtown Rockford, Illinois. I'm saying all that to say, I've leveraged my skills to pursue my business interests. So as you're going to college and learning skills, you want to be able to apply those skills, not just to go make somebody else money, but you need to be thinking about, how can I use what I've learned to build something for myself and my family and my community? How can I learn these skills, this degree that they're going to give me, and make sure that I can make a way for myself, for my family, and for my community? You want to be getting skills. You want to learn how to do something that you can leverage in the competitive marketplace to make yourself some money. There's nothing wrong with making money, but you need to be thinking, what problems can I solve that can make a way for myself, my family, and my community? With this degree, with the relationships I've built, with the connections I want to make, with the goals that I have, how can I use this not to just go work for somebody? Because, obviously, like I said, I have a job and I do work for people. There's nothing wrong with having a job. But I just want to encourage us to be thinking about, how can I build something independent of clocking in and clocking out for somebody? How can I make a way for myself, my family, and my community? And I want the people on the line to know that's well within your capabilities. You can build something that's bigger than Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Those guys really aren't that smart. And I may sound like a hater right now, but the people on this line right now are just as smart as all three of those guys. They started a little bit ahead of us in life. So it's probably a little bit easier for them to make things happen. But the things that we've had to go through, the challenges that we've had to overcome, make us more powerful and resilient. So be thinking about, the things I came through already, there's nothing that can stop me. I'm going to use this degree. I may get a job. I may start working for a company. That's all good. Learning the game, getting my skills up, acquiring knowledge. But then I need to be thinking about, how can I solve problems that can make a way for myself, my family, and my community through business. That way you can create jobs for people. You can create jobs for your community. That's how we need to be thinking.
That's so great. Thank you so much. Very inspirational, and also trying to challenge us to step forward. That's so powerful. Yeah, so to our next panelist, Mr. Prince, we want to find out, you two, from your own experiences, what advice would you give to young people facing this encouragement due to financial or social barriers in studying abroad?
All right. Basically, I like to say two things. First, you don't need money to study here. Like, I want people to have that mindset. One, that you don't need money to study here, and two, that you don't need to be here if you already know what you're gonna face here. or what you achieve here. Like if I already have everything I want to achieve back there home, then I don't have any reason to be here because I can always get them when I'm there. So what I mean by you don't need money to be here because one, I tell people this thing that basically I use myself as an instance. Before coming to the United States, before applying to come here to study for my PhD, I never had 1 million naira saved somewhere for anything.
Mm.
Now, what moved me to come here is the will and not the money. So if you see financial challenges as a reason, as a discouragement to studying abroad, then you're not yet ready to study abroad. You're not yet made to study abroad. Because basically, all you need most times is the will, the zeal, and the desire. When you have the will, when you have the desire, you will get to meet with people that will give you the right path to studying here. Now, with what Stanley is doing in Edu Africa, you get to know that you don't really need the money. Now, I had a group of guys I brought together to teach them how to write publications, how to write papers for articles. They had their BSc papers, but they never published it. And then you want to come here and you don't have publications. Then how do you want to convince an admission committee that you are coming here to study? How do you want to convince them that you have what it takes to come here for a graduate program? So basically, the first thing you need is the will, the desire, and the strong will to come here to study. So if you're able to gather these things, then you will know that the money you are thinking as a limitation is way less on the rank of things that should stop you from coming here to study. So basically, what I need to tell you is this: meet with people that will give you the guidance, meet with communities, volunteer, like what Mr. Franklin said. You're already in your young age, just finish your BSc or your bachelor's, and you don't have any skill. Then what do you want to come give here? Because you can't give what you don't have, and nobody want to get you into graduate program when you don't have any skill or anything to give out here. Because you see, it's more like a trade by barter. I give you I fund your studies, then you give out something back that will help in solving a particular issue. So you need to have that will, you need to have that desire. First, connect with people that will help you get everything you need, the tools you need to come over here to study. If you're able to do that, then you get funding that will bring you over from Africa, from everywhere you are in the world, to come study here. At that point, you're no longer having that financial barrier that's limited. About the social barrier, definitely there will always be a social barrier because we are coming from diverse backgrounds, and that's why we need to come together with our unique background so that we can learn and develop more and build a sustainable community that could stand and withstand most of these challenges. And then we'll have a testimony to share out there to younger people coming behind us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In fact, that's a very questionable kind of thought you are giving us to really understand the key things that's pushing us for us to come here to study. It's very, very important. And thank you for that kind of inspiration. Yes, to our next panelist, Tina, what are some of the productive ways young people can use their skills and talents to generate income legally and sustainably? Because we are also looking at the financial aspect, right?
Could you ask the question again? Can you ask the question again, please?
Okay, yeah. So the question is, what are some of the productive ways young people can use their skills and talent to generate income legally and sustainably?
Okay. The first thing youth needs to look at is what makes them happy in life and knowing who they are as a person, with truly being happy within their own soul. When they can identify their happiness, they can seek solutions that are revolved around their happiness and other needs that create solutions for a win-win situation. For example, when I was younger, I volunteered for my church in an outreach to help people in need, and it made me feel very valued that I was able to do something that was truly helpful to helping other people. I've always had that need to help other people, but I've learned through that process that helping others is to give a hand up, not a hand out. So you have to identify within your own soul what it is that actually makes you happy and evolve your skills and talents around that from evolving your own self. I was able to see a higher calling when I was able to look back within myself and my past and everything that I had gone through and realized my true identity. So your calling will be actually shown to you spiritually when you go through this process of going back and looking into yourself. So you'll be given the confidence you need to know that you're on the right track to go forward. And it's a journey worth taking no matter how many negative obstacles come your way, because negative obstacles are just an opportunity to look at ourselves for a positive change. And what that means is that you have to look at it. Anything that negative comes your way, you have to look at it and say, you're going to look at it in a positive way. What is the reason this negative obstacle is here? And what brought it to you, and how can you stop it from coming again? So basically, you have to put up your boundaries and say that you're not going to accept it no more, and it's not going to happen no more, and that you're going to do everything you can to look at everything that happened to you happened for a positive reason. Such in my personal experience, I've had multiple rapes in my past. And I had to go back and look at myself and say, why did all these rapes happen to me? Why is it continuously happening over and over and over again in my life? So I had to have an understanding that as I look back, I started to be able to see every situation for its identity, for its own individual entity, and see what was happening in those situations, what was happening around me, who was the people that was involved, where were they at in their life at that time, how did that affect me? And I was able to really look within myself deeply and to come to the understanding that it was all happening for a reason. And I don't believe that anything is by accident. Everything is happening for a purpose. And I believe that it is happening to bring you to your higher purpose. So as such, when I looked back at my past, I had recognized that this need that I had to help others, I had such a desire, a need to be able to help others, that I was actually reaching out in the wrong way. And also I had other things that also compiled on that, as my parents did not socialize me because they had a fear of me being raped or taken advantage of. And therefore because I was not socialized, I did not have the experience or the skills needed in order to be to elevate in life. And so it's very important that parents understand, as well as the youth, that they need to allow their children to have these social experiences so they can develop skills and the social ability to communicate properly and to know what's wrong and what's right for them. Because your body is an internal clock. It knows. It feels. When you feel danger, you know it in your pit of your stomach, you're in danger. You know, if you're in love, you know it, you feel it in your heart. So your body is your temple, and it's a warrior for you, and you have to protect it. But we also are beings of learning. We learn by having experiences. So we have to allow ourselves to have these experiences in order to elevate to our highest level, to where, we can put ourselves out there to go for the gusto, to go for the highest that we can envision. Because if you have a vision that's given to you, when you go back and you look deep within yourself, given, you can accomplish. So, because this vision was given to you for a reason.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
In-depth and a powerful one. Yeah, so everything happens for a positive reason. That's so powerful.
Correct.
And I actually resonate with that. Yeah, so to our next panelist, Obina. Obina, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So what do you think are some of the practical steps international students can take to build that strong connections or networks that support their academic and career ambitions? Because we are talking about international students making positive impact. What are some of the strong ways we can build these networks and support for our academic and career ambitions?
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. I spoke a little bit about the career aspect in my first response, where I talked about the need for students to attend career fairs because this is a very good environment to network, talk to recruiters, and I highlighted the fact that even if there is nothing on the table for you at that moment, you could always keep in touch with them on LinkedIn or maybe via email, and they could link you up with something that suits your needs sometime in the future. So this is very important, and I encourage people to attend career fairs. So sometimes you may find these career fairs on your on your school's career board, or maybe on LinkedIn, or another source is Way Up. So in terms of academics, so the first thing I would say is students should try to attend academic conferences where you could connect with professors in other schools and also connect with your fellow students in other schools. They are going to give you important advice on how to take the next step in your field. Remember that these people have probably walked the path that you are currently working on. If your plan is to do a doctorate, the best people you can connect with during in academic conferences are professors in other schools because they may be on the admission committee that will review your application if you plan to do a doctorate or something like that. And even if doctorate is not your plan, they could also point you to companies and organizations that hire people with your qualification. So this is one thing you could do. So also talking about academic success, I would say people should develop this need to talk to students, the junior students in your program. For example, if you are in your first year in your master's, you can talk to people who are in their second year, and the same thing apply for people who are also doing their doctorate because they will give you advice. They will tell you these are the challenges we typically have in this program. By giving you this information, you have the tools to navigate those challenges when you get to that point. For me, it helped me a lot during my doctorate degree. I was able to plan and I was able to finish quite early. Okay. So another thing I would say is you should try to leverage um, the resources that your school provides for your academic success. For example, most schools in the US have writing centers, and I use them also, even though my writing is decent, but I still use them because there is always room for improvement. So writing centers would help you to edit your work. Let's say you wrote an essay or you did a project for a class, you could send it to them and they will go over the document with you. They will teach you how to write and improve your essays for the future. And I believe this is going to improve your academic performance going forward. Then the last thing I want to talk about before my 2 minutes elapses is try to attend office hours. I noticed something when I was in school. Something I spend hours trying to study and understand on my own. When I meet my professors during office hours, they explain it to me in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So save yourself the stress of trying to read for hours. Go and meet those professors. It is their job to help you, honestly. Don't have pity on them. Go and meet them to explain some of these things to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. Yeah, so to our next panelist, Mr. Matthew, what do you think is the most important, how important is resilience in overcoming challenges for African youth pursuing education in the United States, and how can it be developed?
That's a great question. I think that resilience is, first of all, something that we all have. I think that's important for us to understand. And resilience looks different in different situations. So sometimes resilience is taking time. And I think the term of art nowadays is self-care. So sometimes to kind of like reinforce your resilience, the fact that you are powerful and strong, sometimes you just need to take care of yourself. You need to do things that help you feel better. And clear your mind in order for you to maintain a positive posture, be resilient. And there's nothing wrong with getting tired and being stressed out. It's part of what we do. However, you need to have a routine to help yourself feel better. And that's what resilience looks like sometimes, taking care of yourself, tapping in with what we say, your star player. You are your own star player. So you got to make sure your star player is in position to win. However, in some instances, resilience looks like you just gotta lock in, as they say. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's not enough long walks you can take. There's not enough bubble baths and candles you can light. Sometimes you gotta lock in and lean into the challenge, lean into the assignment. And because you'll be proud of yourself when you do. That's how I look at it. You know, you got to be resilient. Sometimes you got to fight back. And I don't mean a physical fight. I mean, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to advance your interests because when you're doing better, you're going to be in position to support your community and your family. So it's really a mindset. I've heard somebody say that before. Be resilient means advocate for yourself. It also means take time to make sure you're in a good position and you're not too stressed and worried. Another piece I'll add is you want to be able to have, back to those relationships, you want to be able to talk to somebody. You don't want to be isolated when you're feeling challenged and your back against the wall. So you got to find somebody who you can trust and who you feel can help you think through things. It might be an older person, it might be a peer, but try to think of who can I talk to help me be resilient and fight for myself. That's what I'll say.
Well, thank you so much for the insights shared. Yes, to our next panelist, Tina.
Yes.
How can youth develop entrepreneurial skills that not only keep them out of crime, but also add value to their communities? Because it's very, very important.
Yes, it is. Developing entrepreneur skills comes from experience in different social communities and situations to where they can get a taste for a skill that's in front of them. There is no other way to recognize them without experiencing them from others' input. Asking their parents to allow them to experience social situations is one opportunity. These skills that they will require will help them to develop their creativity and desires to be better themselves. Understanding that crime only has one output, and that is to have them constantly looking over their shoulder for being fear of being caught, and that they cannot focus on their true growth in that state of mind. If your mind is in a mental distress, which creates your body to be in fright and flight mode, it will cause illness in your body. You cannot function properly to your highest frequency potential in that state. Furthermore, there are opportunities to make a difference in people's lives to pull them out of the poverty mindset. We all have God-given gifts that lie within us. Everyone has them. Do not believe because the Nigerian government and other higher offices that are held by family members of other higher offices that you have no chance to hold one of those positions. Politics are changing, and it's because individuals like yourself are standing up for their own beliefs. When you get tired of being a slave to your government, you will stand up and fight mentally and spiritually for your country. So the change starts with each individual. You have to be the change internally within before you can change anything on your outside experiences. Taking care of yourself before anyone else is very important. For example, if you're in an airplane that is going down, the airbags will fall for you to get oxygen so you don't faint if you're up in that type of situation. So it's very important that you take care of yourself, such as the previous guest honor had explained. You must take care of yourself first before you can help anyone else. That's extremely important.
Wow, that's so true. Thank you so much for that. To our next.
Can I just say real quick? I just want to speak on the entrepreneur piece.
Okay.
Tina,
Okay.
Yeah, Tina, you hit it on the head. I think skills development is crucial. Being in a position to take care of yourself. I think that's big. And I just want to speak, from my job, my W-2 job that I work in the Office of Economic Equity and Empowerment for the Illinois state government. So in the chat, I just dropped a link. I pulled together this thing called the Business Resource Library. Now, I know a lot of people are in different parts of the country and the world, but these videos and this content can be supportive of entrepreneurs as well, whatever your age is. There's some research in there that I've pulled together. There's some video content that can help you with marketing, with business plans. and things like that. So in addition to what Sister Tina said, I just wanted to share that link in the chat.
Wow. Thank you so much for such a
Thank
great
you.
resource. Thank you. Okay, so to our next panelist, which is we have Prince. Mr. Prince, what resources and platforms are available to international students to gain work experience while studying? I know we've touched on it a bit, but kind of also looking further into that.
All right, thank you very much for that question. I understand that work experience is one of the major things you can put out there as what will sell you out. So basically, we have to understand that we have paid and unpaid jobs, right? So, and the experiences you gather from both paid and unpaid jobs will always count for you out there. So that's one thing students don't get to understand. Now, the first thing is that as an F1 student, you are limited to work and you can't even work outside the campus. So that means you are limited to the kind of work experience you can get. And that's why you have to maximize every opportunity you have within campus to get the experiences that will count for you out there, because you don't have the time, you don't have that luxury of getting job anywhere you like, of maybe like increasing your experience level anyhow you like it. So if you have only 20 hours to work a week, that's enough for you to plan yourself very much well to get those experiences that will count for you out there. One of them, like we've already mentioned now, Franklin also mentioned something about a graduate writing center. Do you know that in graduate writing center, they employ graduate students too to help undergrads develop their writing skills? They employ graduate students as statisticians. So if you have statistics skills and you want to gain experience working as a statistician, then go to graduate writing center, apply as a statistician. When you apply there, they can link you up with undergrads having issues with the statistics. When you're able to help these students do that, you're already getting an experience, job experience, even if it's not a well-paid one, but you're getting an experience. Two, we have you do TAs, right? We have TA positions in different schools. Now, even if your studies doesn't give you funding, you can approach a department. Oh, I want to serve as a TA in your department for this semester. Do you have any availability for me? They will ask, okay, send in your CV. What can you do? What can you do? You being able to teach other students, you are getting the job experience as well. So not until you start doing one luxurious job, oh, I'm the head of this, I'm that, before you can count or build on your experiences. Now, you can also build experiences on leadership skills. For instance, when I was talking with Stan, when I was still in Nigeria, he told me, "Guy, I'm going into our student government association." These things are, even though it's a leadership experience, you're also having a job experience in there. It's a two tight stuff. While you're getting your leadership experience as either a senator, as maybe one of the representative in your organization of your graduate school, you're also getting job experience because you are taking a particular position in that place. And those things will count for you too as job experiences. So like I said before, don't then you can also build on the experiences you get while volunteering in different labs, in different. See, man, that's why the US is one strong place that you need to get. Like you have everything you need in your hands if you actually want to get them. Right. If you have the skill, you have the knowledge, you have the intellectual, right? You don't need to kill yourself, die in one place because you don't have the 40 hours duration to work in a week. You can decide to volunteer in a particular lab. Okay, for instance, my advisor, my current peer advisor, his son came to work with us. He did computer science. Nothing has to do with self, which we work with. But he said he's coming to work with us as a computer scientist to help us in our programming stuff, maybe like our MATLAB, our maybe Python analysis and everything. Now he's getting a job, he's getting an experience. This will count for him as a job experience because he's already doing something out here. So whichever time you have, whatever time you have, please volunteer any place you have the availability. It must not be a paid experience. It could be an unpaid experience that will count for you to accumulate the number of experiences you need out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. In fact, that's one thing I've actually been championing while in the classroom in Ghana. I always tell my students, step out of your comfort zones, engage yourself in community events, volunteer, lead some projects and all that, because they are very, very important. And for me, that's basically the only thing that got me here. And I'm so happy and appreciative to the people that actually opened my eyes to some of these stuff. So it's very crucial that you mentioned that. We appreciate that. Thank you. So the next question goes to Mr. Matthew. So we want to know, what role do you think African youth abroad can play in positively impacting their host and their home countries during and after their studies. Because we do have that kind of perception that when they get here, I'm in the United States, I'm in Germany, I'm in France, I'm not going back to Africa, and some of them don't even give back to their home country. We want to know what you think about that.
Well, I want to start by saying he's an ancestor now, is a leader in the United States who had a global perspective. His name was Malcolm X. And he was a proud advocate for Black people across the world. He has a quote that really resonated with me. And it's kind of a funny quote. He said that if you put a cat in an oven and that cat has kittens, you don't call those kittens biscuits. I'm gonna repeat it. He says, if you put a cat in an oven and that cat has kittens, you don't call those kittens biscuits. And it's a funny quote. What I get from that is, like you mentioned, you got students from Africa that go to Germany, the UK, United States, Asia, just because they've gone to those countries. Even myself as a Black man who was born in America, just because my ancestors were brought here to America, I am not a biscuit now. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm still a cat. I'm still an African man. Of course, I'm an American. I know there's different culture. I know there's different history. And I'm not trying to mix any of that up, but I think it's important for us to be able to recognize our connection and our relationship and connection to that source and that fountain that we all come from. Now, our histories are different, like I said. So when you're a student and you leave the continent, I think it's powerful to be able to strike up those connections with your people wherever you are. And I know sometimes it's hard, and because of those language barriers and the cultural differences, but I can just speak for myself and my experience, the people in my community. I've been honored to make connections with those brothers and sisters from the motherland when they get here. I've been honored to travel to Ghana. I've been honored to travel to Tanzania. I've gone all over the world. Anytime I see brothers and sisters, it's a beautiful connection. I call it Black gravity. Somehow we always find a way to connect with each other. So I say, first of all, when you get to your host country, when you're studying, have a spirit and openness to connect with your people, no matter where you are. I just want to say that first. I know sometimes it's not always easy, but if you can hold on to that idea that, man, we are really one and we're stronger together, I found that to be helpful when I've been in those situations. Number two is, how can you have a positive impact on your host country while you're studying and after? First of all, you have to have an intention to be positive, I think. And a lot of people have talked about it already. Get involved in your community, do more than just go to class and go back to the room. If you don't have an intention and to take a little bit of a risk to meet some people, use your voice, bring your whole self to that experience, that's how you're going to do it. I don't think we don't want you to do anything extra other than be your whole self, be your whole beautiful self, your whole intelligent self. Bring your work ethic, bring your creativity, your ideas to wherever you at, and make sure you don't hide it. Obviously, take your time as you do it, and be involved, make those connections. But that's how I would say. First of all, be ready to recognize your people wherever you are. Second of all, have a spirit and an attitude to be positive when you get there, and take a little bit of a risk and bring your whole self, your whole creative self, your whole intelligent self, your work ethic, your ideas, your history, your culture. Bring it to that new community where you're at, and you'll be surprised how when you start to move your feet and get involved and get active, people want to help you. People want to come around you. People want to connect with you and know you. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, so I wanted to add something to what Matthew said. Matthew has made very important points that I agree with for sure. One thing I want to say is when I was younger, I used to tell myself something. I used to tell myself that when I become a billionaire, I'm going to help a lot of people. That's because I've always wanted to help, even when I was like a teenager. But one thing I realized is that you don't need to have money to assist or to give back to your community. Okay. For example, look at what we do at EduAfrica. We don't really put in so much money into it. What we just put is our time. And we have assisted a lot of people over time. Just over a period of 2 years, we have assisted more than 50 students from Africa to get funding to study in different countries all over the world. This is making an impact, and we are not using any money to do it. We're just kind of like committing our time to it. Okay. Those of you in Nigeria, you can assist with some of these cleanup projects. It's not going to require you to spend any money, but you are actually giving back to your community. Then when you come here, you can help to also assist younger Africans to achieve their dreams, just like you achieved your own. So you don't really need money to give back. So whenever people talk about give back, people think, oh, I have to have money to give back. No, you don't have to.
Okay, moderator, are you there?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Think I missed something, sorry. Yeah, so thank you very much to our panelists, Mr. Matthew and Mr. Obi, for that addition as well. I think that actually moves to the next aspect because Mr. Matthew mentioned something about culture. To our panelists, Mr. Charles, we want to know how can youth use the cultural exchange opportunities in the United States to enhance their personal and professional growth?
Doubt if Mr. Charles has joined. I'm doubting that.
Oh, he's still not in?
Not yet.
Wow, I think I saw a name like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he joined earlier. I think he's having issues with his. He told me, okay, just told me on WhatsApp that he's trying to connect with. Okay, don't just continue with others.
Okay.
I'll speak with him on the background.
Okay. So yeah, Mr. Obina is next. So Mr. Obina, we want to know, can you share insights on how international students can balance academics and building the practical skills in the workplace, even though we had some.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Please, can you mute the
Yes,
Can you hear
I'm
me?
trying to
I'm trying to mute the person.
yeah, there is a background noise somewhere. I
I'm
think
trying
that's a
to mute
baby.
them. Yeah, I've muted all of them.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I'm happy a baby is joining the panel discussion. So everyone is carried along.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, so talking about how to balance your academics and kind of like gaining practical skills for the job market. So I think this is actually what defined my entire 4 years doing my doctorate at NIU. Because I kind of like had one leg in class and the other leg in the job market. And one thing I would say that really helped me was time management. But I always had something in mind that my academics comes first. Because think about it this way, if you don't graduate and get your degree, you will not even apply for your OPT and then work in the industry or do whatever you want to do after that. So you have to always remember that even though you want to be actively looking for internships, actively gaining skills to prepare you for the job market, you need to make sure that your academics is taken care of. So what I used to do then is during the day, I try to do my homework. If I need to study anything, I do all of this during the day. Then in the evening, around 6, I open my LinkedIn and start applying for internships. I will do that till, let's say, late at night, around 9 or 10 p.m., and then I'm done for the day. So this way, by trying to manage my time effectively, I'm able to make sure that none of these two parts are lacking. Okay, I'm able to give enough time to my academics and also allocate more time for preparing for the job market because all of us have to face it at some point. So you cannot say, okay, let me just finish my master's and then that may not be the best strategy for you because in this US, as international students, we have limited time. So you have to make sure that every time you have counts a lot. So another thing I would say is while you're in school, you can just be creative with your thinking. You can decide to take classes that will teach you those job market skills. For example, I got my doctorate in economics, and I have always wanted to either work as an economist or as a data scientist. So what I started to do was to try to get some courses from data science that would kind of like count towards my degree in economics. This is like killing two birds with one stone. Okay. So what you are doing is going to benefit both your academics and also you getting into the job market. So that is an effective strategy that you can use. This is just my own as an economist. Like if you are into accountancy or you're into biology, you have to determine the courses that you think that can count towards your degree and also help you progress in the job market. The last thing I want to say is you can always try to also do a part-time internship while you're in school. Okay. Sometimes students don't need to take the full credit unit. Like normally for international students, we have to take 9 credit unit to be full-time and to be in status. Okay. So if you have taken enough classes and you have, let's say, only one course to take during the semester, you can apply for an internship and use the remaining hours to do the internship. And like I said, I've emphasized internship enough. I mean, it is just the easiest way for me to get into full-time position these days. And then during the summer, instead of just relaxing as if you have all the time in the world, I mean, I'm not against people taking vacation. It is very important for us. But as international students, we don't really have that luxury of time. Because if you don't find a job after school, you are going to leave the country. So during the summer, try to do an internship, okay? And then during the fall, you go back to class and focus on your academics too. So these are the ideas I want to share. If anyone has something to contribute, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we move to our next question goes to Madam Tina. We want to know, in your own experience, what role can mentorship play in helping young people from undeserved backgrounds make legitimate and impactful career choices?
Okay, yes. First of all, I need to express a little bit about my experience. So I've had known communications over the last 6 years with scammers from Nigeria and around the world, who I've mentored them with the understanding that all is not lost where they are, as they did and had continued to scam money from me, knowing I'm kind-hearted and have a need to help others. Even though they communicate on a regular basis and still attempt to pull funds from me, you know, that's one of my boundaries I had to put up, because I am a person who I feel for them and where they're living and how they're living and what they have to go through on a daily basis. So that's one thing I had to put up a boundary for. But because they live in lack, they're taught to be living in lack. So, but if you understand Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. You must understand throughout your lifetime, everything that's been put in front of your eyes that glitters was set there to brainwash you, to steal your sovereignty away from you. We are here to love each other and serve each other. We have no true enemies here on this earth. Everything of an enemy is within our own mind. Who and what we allow in our lives, and that what does not serve us is what we've allowed in. So we have no true enemies here. It's all what we have perceived, what's being put in front of us, what type of environments and communities that we live in. It's all pushed into our forefront of our vision. And so we feel that this is who we are, but that is not true. So the diamonds, the gold, the cash, the flashy clothes, and the Gucci bags that are being shown to the youth to entice them, they are all facades to come steal, kill, and destroy their true prosperity away from them. So the mentors have a high responsibility to come with compassion, patience, and understanding of where the youth is in their current situation. They cannot mentor somebody if they cannot understand where that person is coming from and deal with on a daily basis in their own society. The youth needs to know that they are being guided by someone who's been in their position and understands the challenges and struggles that they're going through and have been going through, so that they feel secure in a decision to be open-minded, to take use of the resources that are being presented to them by the mentor. And the youth needs to feel safe to express their needs so the mentor can help them. Because most of them, if they know they're doing scamming, then they're going to not want to express actually what is truly going on in their life. So, so the mentor must come with compassion and understanding for every situation.
Wow, wow, that's so great. In fact, kind of connecting your own personal experience to the advice as well is very important, and trying to make us understand the fact that we need people who also share in the same experiences and we are going to also help us to be able to, be impactful wherever we find ourselves. Thank you so much for that kind of strong inspiration. I do appreciate that. So to our next panelist, Mr. Prince, we want to know issues about safety and well-being. So we want to know how can international students advocate for their safety and well-being while navigating the new country that they find themselves in.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Basically, one thing I've noticed is that no one is above the law. No one is above the law here, unlike what we have in most of African countries, where if you are the president, then no one talks to you. No one, like, the law is, you're now like sitting above the law. You can make any decision without anyone questioning it. So what I have to say about this is, one, once you're coming into a country to study, first thing first, focus on what brought you to the country and avoid crime-related issues. Because one thing is certain, everybody, when students come here, they feel like, oh, I want to make money, I want to make money. But then forgetting the priority, the first thing that pushed them in to this place. And I can tell you the truth, if you avoid late night parties, if you avoid some things that people think that people tend to be boring, like, there's some lives you feel like, oh, this life is very boring. If you avoid most of these things, I'm sure to some extent, let's say to 70 to 80%, you're gonna be safe till you finish your program in the United States. And then two, I normally tell people those things, familiarize yourself with the laws that govern the community where you are in. Like, what are the things governing the place where I am standing in, and what are the things I need to know about this place? So try to get to know what are the do's and don'ts, right? So I know that in some cities in the UX, like, the right to alcohol is about 21 years. I know some might also vary in different states, right? So you need to know, what do I need to know to be able to survive here? And then also try to relate with the community you are into. Like, let's say you are a Nigerian and then you came to the United States and then you came to your school. Try to find where are other Nigerians, because these are your first people that can understand you much better. Like, other people won't understand you, but you need someone that will understand you much better and then give you the guidelines on how they were able to navigate through, right? So if you come in first you meet that cultural shock of, in Nigeria, when I see you, I greet you, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? But here, when you someone, just smile and you pass, right? So now, when you come in here and you don't know that, oh, I don't even need to greet this man, I don't even need to touch you to greet you. Then imagine you're going to touch someone because you want to greet the person. The person becomes threatened, like, why is this man touching me? But if I see a fellow Nigerian, I can touch the person. Oh, bros, how are you doing? Right? The person feels comfortable. The person can explain to you. So this way, you understand how you can be able to navigate within and where you are. And another thing about your awareness, being in the student organization, being a senator in TTU, I've got to understand that meeting with the dean of graduate students, our last meeting on Friday, he was saying that international students underutilize their health insurance. Like, the stats of international students using the health insurance, which they are also paying for, is very, very poor. Why? Because they feel like, oh, health insurance, health system is very expensive in America. I don't want to spend that money. We don't know, you already paid for it while you're in school. Like, when you're paying for your semester dues, in your tuition, you already paid for those things. So why not utilize it and then save yourself the shock of having a very fatal or maybe very tremendous health issue while you're in school? And also, we have students wellness center, right? So try to visit them, utilize those places, and then there are a lot of resources that could help you stand through. And then the last thing I want to mention is, we have international student centers in every school. So if you're having any question, even if you don't know how to meet a fellow Nigerian or a fellow Ghanaian or a fellow Kenyan or a fellow other African country, wherever you're coming from, if you go to the international student center, they will connect you with someone who will be able to put you through and then guide you on how you can be able to navigate through. Because no one is an island. Even when you think you've known it all, there are still a whole lot of things you need to know. So, but about the safety, please avoid, like I always tell people, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but avoid late night parties. Like you have a reason why you're here. Focus on what brought you here first. If you're able to achieve that, then you can now focus on other things and enjoy your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You can party once in a while.
The conclusion was very, very crucial. Avoid late night parties. Very, very
Yeah,
important. Yeah. And
love that.
also, kind of, you said something about we accessing university health services. And that's actually a straight bullet to me because I've paid for my health insurance and I've never visited the health center in my college now. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Thank you very much for reminding us. Okay, so that goes to our next panelist. We have Matthew. Matthew, we want to know what are some of the steps international students can take to combat feelings of isolation and homesickness.
I think that what the brother just said too, that many of these institutions have the international students office and program. That's always a good step. I think that's something that we should all keep in mind. But I want to acknowledge first, how that homesickness is very, very real and visceral sometimes when you are in a place. A lot of times the weather be different, the food is different, the people look completely different. Um, and it can almost shock you into stagnation, so you don't want to move even. You're so homesick, like you want to stay in your room. You are isolating yourself, and then you lose motivation to do your work because you're so homesick. And then maybe like the brother just said, you stop taking care of your health and your hygiene and stuff like that. Just speaking on that and acknowledging how real it is, these are things that are happening. And if you find yourself in a situation where these are happening, like when you isolating, you withdrawn, you always scrolling on your social media, that's not what you want to do. When you get to feeling homesick, you don't want to get lost in your phone. That's a recipe for just like brooding in that loneliness, and a lot of that stuff on the phone is goofy anyway. It's not helping you grow. It's a lot of garbage that they're trying to get you to get wrapped up in. So if you start to feel like that, you might be getting that homesickness. And for me, I studied in Tanzania for a time, and then in the United States, I studied 13 hours away from my home. I live in Illinois. I studied in Alabama in the South, Birmingham, Alabama, and I got homesick. And some things that helped me were learning my surroundings, getting out and exploring my new surroundings. That's something that really helped me, getting out of my room and walking around. Something that really helped me a lot. Also, I personally challenged myself to learn a new skill. For me, it was learning how to cook and pushing myself to do more. Sometimes people journal. I'm not big into journaling, but I do think you need to find time to get things off of your mind. For me, it was jogging and exercising. That's a way where I was able to like slow my mind down. My mind wasn't running. When I'm moving my body, I don't have to think. It sounds different, but it allows for me to rest my mind when I'm moving my body. That helped me. And then I found that when I started to move around and exercise, I'm getting outside, I'm getting my motivation back, I'm meeting people. Um, and it's very, very important that you don't let that homesickness is very real, but don't let it trap you, into a pocket of loneliness, isolation, losing motivation, not taking care of your body, not taking care of your health and stuff like that. So homesickness is very real, but I would say if you do what you can to get out of your room, to get off of the phone scrolling, explore your surroundings. It may not be a late night party, but try to find something that's earlier in the day, maybe. Where some people are, you can just connect with some people, see some good looking people who you may want to talk to, or try some different things, some food. The beautiful thing about an institution is it's like a little microcosm in its own self. It's like you got food places, you got people from all over the world, you got businesses, you got athletic opportunities, entertainment stuff. So leverage all of that stuff on the campus as best you can. And then you got to find somebody that you can talk to, you know, talk it out with somebody. When you get to feeling by yourself, find a way to talk it out with somebody. And maybe even your space, make your space feel at home in your room or whatever. Do some things to put pictures up, change, make the fragrance smell good. I like a good smelling room. Those are little things that help me when I was feeling homesick. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we just have some additional, our last questions for our panel. Um, Let me jump to this very one. Mr. Prince, yes. So, Mr. Prince, can you discuss the role of language adaptability in helping international students succeed here in the US?
Okay,
Sometimes you go to class, you meet people, you talk to them, people say, oh, damn, he has an accent, she has an accent, and it feels so kind of weird. Trying to, I mean, have that kind of personal relationship or establish that kind of bond with some of these people, even to talk about communication. So, what do you think about language adaptability in helping international students succeed here?
okay, basically, I what I tell people, it's own yourself and own your heritage, right? Own yourself and own your heritage. You can't change who you are.
Mm,
You can't change who you are, but you can adapt and you can be open to learning. Now, basically, when you speak in the first, someone tell you, I don't understand, I don't hear what you're saying. Man, I will tell you first, like let's assume you're in a class, right? You're in a class and you don't want to ask questions because people will feel like, oh, they might make mockery of you or something. Man, you can always write to the professor about the question. Feel free to do that. Then if like when I was taking TA classes, because in chemistry you must teach, like there's no way you can overcome it, right? So you have students that are gonna stand to face them to teach them. So first thing, there'll be a disclosure statement. Oh, I'm from Nigeria and I have accent. So they already know that you have accent and you're from Nigeria. So when you make your comments, nobody says, "Oh, he has accent," because you've already made a disclaimer. You already told them, and you can't expect me to speak like you. You were born and brought up here. You've been here for like years, and I grew in Africa where I will speak different kind of languages and for more than 30 years. So you don't expect that to happen. And then what I mean by own your culture in the Senate House, they say you must wear suit, but I told them no. I'm an African man, and suit is not my natural, not my professional attire. That we wear senators, we wear caps. And I wear it to Senate House, and it's accepted. So you must own your culture, you must own your heritage. And then while you're owning your culture and heritage, also try to learn because there's always room for learning, there's always room for adaptability. So it's not when you become rigid to the point that you don't want to accept that cultural differences, that's where it becomes a problem. But if I'm discussing with you, I will tell you, I will first make you see. If you don't understand what I'm saying, please call my attention back to it. If I don't understand you, I won't assume. I won't most times people feel like, oh, I didn't hear what this man said, and they won't say, oh, I didn't hear what you said. They will just accept, oh, that's maybe let's just agree, let's just go that way. It doesn't work that way. So, and as in own your heritage, understand that yes, you have that language barrier, and also try to learn and adapt within your environment, and that would definitely help you. And then also try to come out to social activities. That's one thing that will always help you to overcome it. Because when you're always within yourself, you don't socialize, you don't interact with people, you don't even go to volunteering activities. Then how would you be able to learn and then to learn it to even when someone says come or call, like how be able to like differentiate between those two things? So when you kill yourself in your space and not make friends. Recently, I told myself, oh, man, since I came to America, I've been going to black church, black like our normal plan. I said, no, now I want to start going to white church because I want to associate, I want to integrate myself with them. Because then when I go to my black church every Sunday, we'll still see guy how far. We speak our normal dialects, right? I don't get to have that relationship outside except in the class or in the lab. So try to create avenues that will help you meet with people that's outside your horizon so that you can be able to learn and adapt very much well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's very important for most of us here. Yeah, so to Miss Tina, your last question, we want to know what advice do you have for youth looking to create a fulfilling and legal career path in sectors that actually contribute to social and economic development, such as nonprofit?
Yes, I suggest that they look for careers that they're passionate about. If you don't have any passion towards it, to have a desired outcome or change within it, then it's not going to be worth your time or effort. So it has to be something that you really want to see a change, like a change in your environment, a change in your social, outcome, things that are happening in and around you. Social and economical developmental change cannot happen unless the desired outcome is spoken about and brought to the forefront for others' attention to come to it as well. So, secondly, you must put yourself in that environment in order to understand the ins and outs of how that sector works, so you can use your own desires, skills, and passion to put forth your effort for a great change. For one example, one of my friends in Nigeria that I have been mentoring is a chef that is accomplished in his own right. He has his own business there that he has. He doesn't have a lot of anything, but he has his own business, and he's known throughout his community for his business. But he has a desire to become a lawyer, to create a change. I suggested for him to do this process. So he feels safe with me because I listened to him and he has spoken to me of his intense situation that he lives in. I gave him a hand up and not a handout. Both of us have been satisfied with our communications. So to volunteer at a law office, be a gopher for a lawyer or for a secretary at a lawyer's office, somehow integrate yourself into that environment that you want to be in, and it will help you elevate to the level you want to be in at your own life. And thirdly, you must always inspire yourself. Confidence is what you need. Speak to yourself every day. Stand in front of a mirror. Speak out to yourself of who you want to be and the outcome you want to see, and it will come to fruition. It's the same thing as journaling. But this way, you're looking yourself in the mirror, in the eye, your soul. You're looking into your own soul by looking your eyes in the mirror, and you're speaking out who you want to be, how you want to see yourself, and speak yourself into positivity of who you are. Because if you have a desire to be this way, then truly deep down you are, but you've lost somewhere along the line the confidence to be that person. So you have to be your own cheerleader and bring yourself back up, because you absolutely can do it. And if you use this process by looking in the mirror and to speak to yourself with confidence, and I don't care if you don't believe in it, just start doing it. Okay, because your soul knows, your body, your temple is truly your soul. So when you tell yourself something a lie, your soul knows it. You feel an immediate impression within your body. When you tell yourself something that is true and that you desire, you also feel that. And you don't feel it in your pit of your stomach like it's wrong. No, you feel it in your heart space. You know that this is something you truly desire. And you know when you desire something, if you keep that positive attitude towards it, and you don't pass that mirror without speaking to yourself in the morning, then you're definitely going to have the ability to change your situation. And the same thing as when you go to sleep at night, you want to, this is basically goes back to that homesick situation that he was talking about, is that how you want to alleviate that stress is that you want to make a list, make a paper list before you go to bed. Write down everything that's on your mind that is stressing you out or worrying you. You write it down. Okay. And then when you go to sleep, you need to find either listen to music that's the melody is a calming melody. You listen to that. Stay away from the internet, stay away from social streams or anything like that that's going to irk you or get you upset. You want to remain calm. Then you'll be able to go to sleep with the intention on your mind and in your heart that you are going to calm yourself down. You're going to take deep breaths in your nose and breathe deep breaths out of your mouth until you're able to calm your breath. When you're able to calm your breath to a slower pace, to where you're not feeling anxious or stressed, then you can be able to listen to your breath and feel your chest rise up and down. And once you do this, you'll be in a much calmer state to where you'll be able to be relaxed and you'll go to sleep and you'll have the ability to truly have that ability to go within yourself, because what actually happens is once you're able to master this, when you wake up in the morning, you will receive either through dreams or messages, you will receive your inner knowing and calling, the answers to your questions and your answers to what you need to know of what's been bothering you. They literally will come to you. It's your higher self that's coming to you, that's voicing itself to you and letting you know, this is who you are, this is what you need to know. And then you get out of your comfort zone and you push forward to go to that level. Just try to understand what it is you need to do next. And then you look at your list that you wrote down that night before and you meditate on that to understand what it is that you got from the message you received. What do you need to do next? And then you organize your list in order to help yourself better understand what your next step is in your own life.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that was very, inspirational to all of us. And some of the steps we can also take. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think our last question goes to Obi. So Obi, this is just a quick one. What do you think are some of the specific skills or knowledge areas you think they are very critical for success in today's job market that international students should actually look into?
Okay, so I'm going to make this very brief. So the first one I will talk about is in-demand tech skills. These skills are applicable in different fields. For example, programming, AI, and machine learning. We all know that AI is getting bigger by the day. So if you can acquire these skills, it can, the knowledge you earn from acquiring these skills will make you employable across different sectors. Even people studying biology, chemistry are now getting involved in programming. And like I said, also AI is very important. Then cybersecurity. Companies in the United States are facing threats. Like Tina talked about her experience with scammers from Nigeria. There are also scammers here, just to make that very clear. Okay, so that's why companies in the United States are investing a lot of money to build their cybersecurity, and they're looking for people who have that kind of skills. Okay, so another skill that is important is communication, and this is very important for everyone, even those in tech jobs. For example, I am in a tech job right now. I work as a data scientist and I mainly do programming, but I still have to communicate my results to executives who may not even understand the technical part of it. So being able to explain the technical part to them in a non-technical way is a very big soft skill that you need to earn, that if you have it, it will make you very employable. And I never knew this until I got into this job. So, as you're gaining those programming skills, those technical skills, try to also make sure that you can communicate effectively, and that is going to help you in the job market. Then another one is networking. Networking is very, very important. We have talked about it a little bit already. People say that your network is equal to your net worth. So that's to tell you how important it is. Okay, so try to network. Every person is a potential network. Recruiters, professors in other schools, and even the ones in your schools, just try to reach out to them and see if they can link you up to something that can help you in your career. So the last thing I want to talk about, we have talked about applying for internships, wellness, and all of that. It is very important that while you're in the US and trying to pursue different dreams, try to make sure that you prioritize your health. Your health is important. Without it, nothing else can ever work. You cannot apply for internships. You cannot even complete your studies. So make sure that you take care of your mental health. It is not so big in Nigeria, but it is very, very important. And your schools will probably have resources to help you deal with some of these things. Like my brother said, Ozioma, he talked about using your health insurance. That's very, very important, your health insurance. Okay, try to do an exam at least once a year. Okay, at least know if you can, if the doctor can capture something that may need to be treated quickly, so that you'll be healthy to pursue all of those big dreams you have. So this way I want to stop my discussion for today, and I'm happy to take questions.
Moderator, are you still there? Festus, you are muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so I think basically that was our last question, and we appreciate our panelists for the deep insight and inspiration you've given us throughout these questions as well. We open the forum for any question from the audience. If you have any question, you can just raise up your hand and you'll be called and we answer your question. You can still put your question in the chat and it will be read out for it to be answered. Thank you.
Someone was raising up his hands, and then I told him that he should wait for the
Yeah, I
Q&A.
think that was John Bosco. He actually left.
Okay. So what you can do, probably start from I think there are some questions on the chat box.
So
And
John Bosco's question, I've actually read it. It's about basically getting scholarship to come here and study and all that. And I think that's something which can be answered on the page as well. I mean,
yeah, there are two questions that are important. Apart from his question, I think there's a question from Zekwesandra or something
okay,
saying,
so I have a question and it goes like,
and
if you
and
arrive
and and and
as
Obina
an
Obina and Ozioma can do very good justice to that question.
Yeah, if you arrive as an international student, do you take how do you take care of do you take care of yourself for some time before the school start paying you? Do you need to open an account in your home country that is recognized abroad or change your own currency to theirs in order to take care of yourself? Okay, so I think that's basically something I can answer, right? So, as an international student coming here, you can't come in with Ghana cedis or Nigeria cedi or any kind of currency from Africa. So you just have to change those currencies to US dollars, whether you are in the US or you are in the UK, into euros or pounds, any other thing, any other country you are going there to study. By then, for the account creation, as in a bank account, there are so many banks that actually operate here in the US. And mostly what happened is that during orientations for newly internet or newly enrolled students, you see most of these banks available and you are able to talk to them through some of their banking policies and all that and how to get a bank account for yourself. It takes actually a time for you to get certain document because you need to show that you are actually a resident, you have someone somewhere that you live and an address that you can use to create the account. You need other forms like I-94 that you need for you to also create a bank account. You need details of your I-20 and then your visa as well, your F1 visa or J1 visa as an international student studying here or doing an exchange program. So that's basically that. It depends on the bank that you are using. Some of them don't require all these documents. I think I used Chase also when I was creating an account here and Bank of America as well. They are very, I mean, it's just cool to work with these banks and they don't really stress international student much, but it's very, very important for you to read around these banks very well because you don't know some of their policies. And one thing that I always champion people to do or engage in is to engage in active reading because if you don't read policies around certain things, then that's when you find yourself wanting, right? So kind of get to know the details of the banks that you are creating, whether you are using a checking account or a savings account, however you are going to create that, know all those policies around that. So and you can't really do it online. You need to do it in person, book an appointment with the bank before you even go to the bank. Everything here is about appointment. So if you want to meet probably Matthew or Tina at the office, you need to book for an office hour. I mean, for you to meet them and all that. So everything here is just about formalities and all that, but everything is cool as well. It's cool to live in America. Yeah. So that's that. I think I've answered that question. Do you have another question? Um, okay, so I think these are the
Yeah,
questions in the
just to
chat.
mention the thing, I don't know if I can mention the thing about that question. The person was
Okay.
asking, okay, when he or she comes, how would the person survive while waiting when he or she is paid? One thing I tell people is if once you've gotten your admission and you've gotten your visa, in fact, even before you start getting your visa, go to LinkedIn, right? Try to connect with other international students or other students from your locality that are studying in that same school. It must not be the same program. So how this could help you is this: some persons can offer you airport pickup, some can offer you accommodation for like maybe like the first 1 week. Like now in TT, I know that some students when they come in, most persons stay for the first 2 weeks. They have people that will accommodate them for the first 2 weeks, and then when they will not have time to now sign a lease, because one, you don't want to just come in and then go sign a lease that you cannot come out of because you don't even know how it works. You don't even know like how does this particular maybe house or this apartment, how is it like, how is the policy and everything, both closeness to school and everything. So you want to be in and then take your time and do most of this. And then before you can be able to do that while being here, it's like by connecting with people. First time, look for if there's a Nigerian community in that place, like you said, they have like we have Nigerian Association in TTU. So if you go online and look up for them, if you're coming to TTU, they will give you the necessary step and guidance you need. If it's a Ghanaian association, they will give you that guidance. If it's a Kenyan association, they will give you that guidance. So don't try to be an island trying to, even if you have the money. See, you can still have the money and suffer with the money you have. That's the basic. You have your money, but you still suffer with the money you have because you lack the right information and guidance to get through it. So connect with people from LinkedIn and from everywhere so that you can just get the necessary information you need so that you can push through. Thank you.
Yeah. Part, part of the project that the future project that Edu Afrique is actually looking forward to is to kind of create a zone and a kind of create a comfortable situation for incoming international students. Sometime last year, we did all of those things, but it's basically for those coming to NIU. We were able to, Obinna can testify to that. We were able to offer them pickups, airport. I used my car. We are flying, going to airport, bringing them back to the caravan. We accommodated a lot of them. Some stayed, spent 2 weeks, some spent 1 month and all that, and they were able to settle in. So we are looking forward at Edu Afrique to probably, if we're able to see funding, all of these things depends on the funding we can get. We can look at a situation whereby we can probably work with some Airbnb people in different schools in the US and to find a way they can subsidize it. You can make some deposits for them and then they subsidize it for us. It's a kind of something we can look at. So these are the things. But then the for now the practical way you can do is what Uzioma and then business have told you guys to do. Connect with people, connect with your colleagues, and then you get what you want. And as time goes on, we are looking forward to more of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing and being part with us. To our dear panelists, we are so much grateful for the opportunity to be here with us. And we say God bless you for the time. And we do appreciate everything you are doing for us. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you on behalf of Education African Scholars Global Connect. I want to first of all thank all the panelists, making out time. I know how busy all of them are. In most cases, they find it difficult to even reply emails on time. So because I know that people are busy doing one thing or the other, but they still found out time. They still made out time. They still made out time to come and be with us here today. I'm very grateful to all of them. Um, Obinna, Uzioma, Matthew, Tina, even Charles, although he couldn't, he's battling with a lot of things. I have been talking with him on the background. But he is a person that if not for what happened, he would have been here because he was here. We did a similar program last year, 2023, and he was one of the panelists last year. So but he couldn't make it here today. But we thank him also. I will also send him a mail after this program, and we have a record of this, which I will also share with him. So I want to thank them and also thank Festus in a very special way for moderating this program. It's not easy. I know, you know, like we always say, we are, this is part of what we're doing to give back to the society. And then uh, some people may say, yeah, we may not be putting, it's not like we're not putting money. I want to correct one impression. Obina said, you don't need money to, yeah, we don't need money, but somehow we have been spending, him can even testify, he even spent in the last scholarship we offered, because we offered scholarships to some people who were coming. I know how much he donated. We all donated, and we were able to give some people some money that helped them in their travel to US. So we spent, but however, what we are looking forward to is, as time goes on, we can look forward to other organizations that can fund us to do a bigger project, because our target is to look for a way to kind of start paying application fees. Even currently, yes, 2 days ago, I was talking with Ozioma, and then he has opted to give out some dollars for about 4 students who will be paying for their application fee. So we are spending money. We are spending money. So, but then we are spending our time. The time we are spending, the truth of the matter is that the time we are spending to host programs is very much big, because in this US, time is money. Okay, as you can see, we've been here for like, let's say, close to 2 hours or more. An hour in most of the jobs in this US, the least job, like in the state of Illinois, I mean, the least job you can get here is like $15 per hour, or let's say, yeah, I think have a minimum wage of $13 per hour. So if your times it by 2 or 3 hours, you know the amount we each person in this call have donated for this program to hold. So we are, if you say we are spending, however, we may be spending it either in cash or in other aspects. So, but then I want to use the opportunity to appreciate all of them, all of you guys, for your contributions, to see that our young people get directions that they want. Because we all, in one way or the other, by the grace of God, have crossed a milestone. And one of the things we do when we have crossed a milestone is to help others to cross, to get to where we are. And that makes a society to grow. I always tell people that when one person is rich in a community, automatically you are a very poor person. When one person is rich, you are poor. But when you are rich and you try to make others rich too, you are wealthy. So try to circulate it. Don't just, because when only you is rich, everybody will be looking up to you. And the money you're making may not be able to solve the whole problem of every other person. But if you teach people how to make money, I always advocate for teaching people how to fish and not to be giving people fish. That's it. That's the point. Teach him how to make money, he will make money, and he will teach others, and that is how wealth circulates and people becomes rich. So that is what we are doing here at Edu Afrique. We came up on board, we said, let us have this organization and use it to impact in the lives of younger ones who are there. And we've been doing a lot of things to do this, to actualize our aim and objectives. So we thank you guys for being part of our dream, and we're looking forward to more programs and like this. And each time we call upon you guys to always answer us. Thank you guys so much. And then finally, I think if you want to connect with any, I think, okay, Matthew, thank you. I wanted to say that, and I just saw it now. If you want to connect with any of our resource persons today, if you guys can provide your email address to the chat section, and then people can connect with you, because most of the things you've shared with us here, a lot of people may want a follow-up, so people, the participants may want to connect with you and follow up on whatever, and then the way you can teach them how they can succeed in life and how they can make it in whatever they are doing. So please, if it's possible, and then even if they can't get to you, they can always get to me, and then I can always pass their message to you guys. So thank you all. And then and you can also drop your, if you don't have your email, you can drop your LinkedIn profile and connect with you from there. So thank you guys. I want to talk about recently because one of the challenges we African students are having is paying for some of these things from Nigeria or from Africa, from any country in Africa. Paying for like application fee, mm, uh, other fees you're supposed to pay before you come to the US for your education. But recently, I discovered a new platform that I think it can be helpful for most of these young ones. So if you want to do it, I think I found out that there is a new bank. I mean, there is a new system where I think it's called Platinum or something like that. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. When it's a kind of it's a debit card, just like a normal bank. You open a normal bank account, and then you apply for that debit card and connect it to your account, and then you can use that debit card to make payment to any school in the US, and they will charge you in naira and convert it in dollars. So I think it's a new thing. So we will share more updates on that in our WhatsApp platform for those who, because all this while I've been getting emails, getting information from people who want to pay from here. So most times it's always difficult. Some of you normally send me your naira. I find a way to pay in dollars and all that. But from what I'm seeing now, you can actually pay from Nigeria with your card, with your Nigerian bank card. But are you're going to make some payment for that card? I think that card is called Platinum or something like that. So we will share more information on that. I think I will let Pascal to share more information on that on our platform, on our WhatsApp platform, so that people can actually leverage that to be able to make payments from their different home countries to the US. Yeah. Finally, we want to let you guys know that by next week we will roll out some opportunities. We are selecting some people. I want to let you guys know that somebody contributed for us to pay for the application fee of 4 students, and he's one of the panelists here. Thank you so much for that, Amma. I think he donated about 300 something dollars to us for us to be able to pay for some students. That's part of the things we are doing in Edu Africa. We thank him for that, and we look forward to, by next week we're going to announce in a couple of weeks we're going to announce those who we have chosen to pay for their application fees. Thank you guys so much, and then we keep in touch, and may God bless you guys for all you have said today, and then and may God continue to keep all of us. Thank you. And bye, everyone.
Thank you, Brother Stanley. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I'll connect with you on the email.